coach. It's very common. Chastity Bono is a great example of this. Chastity Bono started being raped by her nanny when she was, I think, 9 years old. And so it's all a very vampiric dynamic. Lipstick lesbians, feminine lesbians, they are driven by a hatred of men. Most of them were abused by men as children, the mother's boyfriend, the stepfather. And if you look at the surveys and the research that's been done, the vast majority of strippers and porn stars were abused as young girls, many of them by the mother's boyfriends or the mother's husband. Transvestitism, pure somatic narcissism driven by anger, violent anger towards one's own body to the point of mutilation. The narcissistic false image taken to the extreme. Bruce Jenner, pure somatic narcissist. And, you know, it's interesting, since this has all happened and come out, he has 3 sets of children. He has a set of children that were born, in fact, before the '76 Olympics, who are now in their 40s, and they've come out and said, he was a horrific, terrible father, abandoning us, completely non-empathetic, completely absent, horrible father. Well, yeah, it's because he's a somatic narcissist, and this perversion has increased and metastasized to the point where the guy is now getting ready to literally chop his genitals off for public show. It's incredibly sad. Heterosexuality, all sexual activity outside of marriage in the proper physical manner, bodily position, and open to the transmission of life, is disordered and rooted in anger, hatred, envy, or fear in some way. Sadly, conjugal acts genuinely rooted in love are becoming exceedingly rare, even among people who are married, because most people today contracept. Contraception says, I hate and fear your fertility. I hate and fear that aspect of your person, your fertility. And so there's even in that, even in married heterosexual sex, if it is contracepted, if it is not open to the transmission of life, then there is that seed of hatred and fear there, even in that. Because all of aberosexuality is rooted in diabolical narcissism, only normal heterosexual men and women should be permitted to religious life. Only normal heterosexual men and women. No asexuality, none of that. You've got to be straight. You've got to be normal. Priest, monk, you like girls? The answer to that should be yes. I am heterosexual. This notion that these people are somehow asexual, it's completely wrong. The only normal psychological comportment, psychospiritual comportment, is heterosexuality. Even if a homosexual man is chaste, that is completely celibate, never, let's say you've got a man with same-sex attractions who has never engaged in any sex act with another person and has never even masturbated, never even abused himself. If he still is homosexually oriented, if he still lusts after men of the same gender, obviously, then there is something wrong there. It's rooted in diabolical narcissism. It's pointing to diabolical narcissism, which is the overarching reality and concern. Because his perverted attractions are a derivative of diabolical narcissism, he must never, ever be allowed anywhere near the priesthood, ever, ever. Think about it. Priesthood, offering the holy sacrifice, hearing confessions, care of souls, diabolical narcissist. Nope, absolutely not. Diabolical narcissists are weapons of mass spiritual destruction. This is why homosexuals have been aggressively recruited into the church. Most of the nuns now are lesbians. Well, let's just lay our cards on the table. And the percentage of priests that are either gay or gay friendly or gay positive, as they say, it's beyond alarming. And they were recruited and placed there on purpose, and look at the destruction. In 50 years, 90%, if you want to use the word apostasy at this point, you probably could, in the West. Remember, diabolical narcissism is when a human being freely chooses to purge all love from their soul. Diabolical narcissists are incapable of love. They are only capable of the demonic emotional palette of anger, hatred, jealousy, and fear. Diabolical narcissists are not only unqualified, but extremely dangerous to souls. You think I'm mean? You think I enjoy this, that I'm enjoying the horror of this situation, that I would enjoy saying, you are completely it's horrible. It's horrible. But it is objective reality, and it must be faced, and it must be discussed openly. And we have to do something about it too, not just talk about it. Telltale sign with priests. Diabolical narcissist priests resent being asked to hear confessions and often refuse. Sure sign of a good priest is love of the confessional. I had an opportunity to visit on the phone not too terribly long ago with an excellent, excellent young priest. And we were talking about confession and the importance that confession be available. And he said to me, hearing confessions is the joy of my life. He looks forward to it every single day. Looks forward to going and sitting in the box, even if nobody comes. Even if nobody comes. It's something is terribly, terribly wrong with a priest who refuses to hear confessions. Macro-societal dynamics driven by diabolical narcissism. First and foremost, oligarchy. Oligarchs are people who think that they are above everyone else. It's a very demonic mindset. Superiority, otherness, elitism. The rules do not apply to them. I'm going to start using the term alpha and beta. Alpha diabolical narcissists above, with beta diabolical narcissists as a massive supporting bureaucracy. This is a very important concept. What we see is there's actually two operational levels of diabolical narcissist. The alpha level is much, much smaller, and those narcissists tend to be your sociopaths and your psychopaths. They're very aggressive, and they're usually very powerful people. What is below them is a massive case of what I call beta diabolical narcissist. That is the kind of narcissist who wants to attach to someone or something above them and follow them. We'll talk about this much, much more. So it isn't just the fact that you've got this few number of oligarchs. It's also this bureaucracy that's under them. The bureaucracy is made up almost entirely of diabolical narcissists too. That's why I say the problem with the United States isn't a matter of, repopulating the Congress or getting somebody else in the way. I mean, it's so over, and it's so over because you're going to have to completely clear out the bureaucracy too, which is massive. And that's all populated with diabolical narcissists, and they're not going to go without a fight. Prevalence of diabolical narcissism is inversely correlated to subsidiarity and the rule of law. The more a society is populated with diabolical narcissists, the more totalitarian the structure becomes. So there's a positive correlation between totalitarianism and diabolical narcissism. There's an inverse correlation to subsidiarity, meaning power that evanesces as you go up. So the most power is at the local level, and then power evanesces as you go up toward the more overarching. Obviously, oligarchs have no interest in that. They want exactly the opposite. The bureaucracy. Oh. Diabolical narcissists very often attach themselves to a sociopath or psychopath alpha to whom they display loyalty and will brook no criticism. Diabolical narcissists admire sociopathy. They admire people who are aggressively devoid of empathy and shame and are loveless. In terms of this, we're looking at people like government staffers, mafia or gang members. That's what this dynamic is. Political fanboys, people who just blindly attach themselves to politicians, and then no matter what happens, they continue to be loyal, even when the politician is revealed to be completely disingenuous and oily. Celebrity entourages, the people who are trailing along behind Justin Bieber and people like that, the people trailing along behind Bieber are probably all diabolical narcissists because they really like celebrity. High-level corporate staff, the people who are working for John Corzine. What kind of a person do you have to be to want to work for John Corzine? So all the people surrounding him at MF Global, those are probably all bureaucratic beta level diabolical narcissists. Religious cults, obviously. You've got a psychopath at the top and then a bureaucracy below of enforcer support staff bureaucracy, and they're all diabolical narcissists. And careerists in the church, obviously. Chasing status, chasing celebrity, attaching themselves, brooking no criticism of even the most corrupt people above them. We're seeing that right now, obviously, with Jorge Bergoglio, Pope Francis. People just groveling around behind him. Those are probably diabolical narcissists. The dynamic of the hag-fag. Diabolical narcissist homosexual men will frequently attach themselves to a sociopathic woman. So the sociopathic woman is the alpha, and then the homosexual man is the beta diabolical narcissist. Examples of this, female celebrities. When I first became aware of this entire dynamic was actually when I was a kid and I would watch A&E's biography. And anytime they would do a biography about one of these old-time Hollywood female celebrities, the main source of information being interviewed would be an extremely well-dressed gay man who was her life friend, dear, close, personal friend. He was a hag-fag, okay? So this dynamic also frequently emerges with rich, powerful, socially or politically connected women. Alpha level with a homosexual man trailing along behind them. The man, the homosexual man, is looking for long-term financial benefits. He's perhaps looking for career advancement. He's certainly looking for social status. And he may even, although this is less common today, but up until not too long ago, he may have been looking for a beard cover, wanting to perhaps put forth the idea that maybe he was sexually involved with this woman in order to cover his homosexuality in public or to his family or whatever. The woman is looking for a quote-unquote human pet or a stable male presence in light of her own promiscuity, a de facto personal assistant, perhaps a fashion consultant, since it's a gay man, and maybe even sometimes a manny, a guy who will take care of her kids.